Welcome to On the Chain. This is Chip here with co-host Jeff. What's going on, everybody in OTC land? Well, we have a very special interview today. It's always great when we're graced by the presence of the next individuals coming on. Let's get through the open and we'll tell you a little bit more. But guys, get ready. It's going to be great. Get your questions ready. We're going to have a good time tonight and we will see you on the other side. You guys ready for this? Let's go.
Welcome to On the Chain.
And without further ado, Jeff, we got a special interview today. We have none other. Gentleman's has graced the podcast several times. This thing is his third or fourth appearance. I've lost track, but we have none other than DS from xSPECTAR. You know him as the founder, Dirk. He's the founder of xSPECTAR. We're going to go ahead and unpack a bunch of different things. We're going to talk about what he's been working on, what's happening with the and what's kind of on the roadmap. What are we doing? What's coming up next? And now, please put your hands together as we bring in DS. And there he is. Boom.
There we go.
And there we go. We're off. Hey, what's up, DS? How you doing, Dirk?
Well, I'm doing all right. You know, we've been working hard, especially the last weeks. We ramped up a little bit. It's 2 a.m, and for me, it's relatively early because the last weeks, I think I went to bed at around 5, 6 a.m. Depending if my son is there, he has to wake up at 7 and go to school at 8. So I try to, it's long nights. No, but I'm pretty good. You know, it's been a rough couple of months, but we're working full throttle. The team has been working and going above and beyond, given the situation. We lost some people, some other state, and they appear to be very loyal, but it's not about me. It's not even about the team members. It's not even about xSPECTAR as a project. I think that now we are coming to a tipping point, not only with XRP. Price moved up pretty well, which I'm very thankful of. I think that XRP holders absolutely deserved it. People know that I've been pretty critical about the ecosystem and Ripple over the past few years. I want to apologize for that to a certain degree, but I also think it was meant to be constructive, and maybe I was a little bit too harsh. Of course, good news. First Ledger launched their platform, the team that also runs XRP Cafe, and timing was really by coincidence, apparently, on spot. You know, it drew in quite a lot of new people to the ecosystem. It drew quite a bit of eyes on projects building on the XRP ledger, and then of course the SEC. And I know you're a pretty big fan of President Trump. You know, I think that from a crypto perspective, definitely it's interesting. Him launching his own meme coin. Unexpected for me, at least, and then seeing the SEC dropping one lawsuit after another. You know, not only the Ripple case, which is huge, $50 million fine, which is to them absolutely nothing, of course, more a symbolic act. And then there are multiple other cases that they are dropping. So I think that between now and getting actual regulation, most people are safe, you know, and that is something that for people that run a project is pretty important. Also, they dropped a case against Yuga Labs regarding NFT sales. Hester Pierce that recently said, well, projects should be able to sell NFTs to raise funds. A big change in comparison to the past few years. You know?
Dirk, what do you attribute a lot of that change to?
I don't know. I'm not into politics.
I know.
Yeah, you know, I try to avoid subjects religiously, and religion is one of them, by the way, as well. I don't know. I think, you know, we will end up talking politics anyhow. I was very curious about Mr. Kennedy and his role, and I was very surprised that he got on the team, and it was probably a good strategic move. And then, of course, Elon Musk. You know, he is pretty clear on some things as well, and I thought he would probably be hitting the brakes with the president on some levels, but I think he's pushing the throttle here and there,
Well, he's been under fire. I mean, he's had a lot of incoming, and I think the saddest part of the story is here in the U.S. People went out and they bought a Tesla. They love their car. They're just fans of the car, and people are coming up and keying them and writing symbols on them, and just being very. And how's that? If you're mad at Elon Musk, how does that? Why would you go to destroy someone's personal property? So I think we've kind of crossed a little bit of a line there, and I think we've forgotten. And the reason, Doge was set up by President Obama. They just changed the name, but there was an official a body that was set up when Obama came into office because he wanted to cut some of the fat out of what the government was doing. And so all they did was they changed to the Department of Government Efficiency, or Doge. So that's why they didn't need any regulatory approval, or they didn't need any Congress, because it was already established. So, and every president's come in and say, hey, we should cut it and go back to Reagan. Reagan wanted to cut the size of the government. I think there was a clear shift. There was one time when Trump said BTC should be absolutely, he was against it and he likes the dollar. But clearly, he also has two sons that are very into crypto. So I think that helped. Also, he's had some good, Elon Musk, a lot of advisors that I think have given him some good information. But the whole idea of having, if crypto regulations pass in the U.S., it's going to be good for everybody everywhere. And this is what we need, because we need this sort of like passion to roll through. And, like you mentioned First Ledger, Jeff and I were terrified to participate in that because we live in the U.S. Okay, great. They're dropping these lawsuits. But what happens if we come out with our Yeti coin, right? Our badass Yeti coin? What's going to happen there?
Apparently meme coins. And, this is the hard thing now with the SEC and other government agencies dropping all kinds of lawsuits. In between now and actually getting regulation, we might have a short period of the Wild West, where everybody does anything. And that could be tricky because it will take some time before there is an actual legal framework. I think that people that actually build stuff in whatever form or whatever extent, that they don't need to be scared about lots of things that they should be scared of before. And as far as I know, NFTs, but also meme coins, will be or are already or will be classified as digital collectibles. I've seen some pretty clear remarks regarding that. We, of course, have a strong partnership with All the Money, ATM. We partnered up with them. It's mostly ran by the community. I think it was a good move to also draw eyes from the meme community towards xSPECTAR and getting ATM involved in xSPECTAR and showing other projects that you can actually use the metaverse platform as a promotional thing. Having a presence in the xSPECTARverse is pretty nice because you will get reposts from both my accounts and the xSPECTAR account, and they are pretty strong. I think that the focus should be regarding xSPECTAR on what we have already built. And lately I've been speaking to many people. One of them is Aaron McDonald, for example, from Futureverse. We are looking into, should we integrate the root network? Aaron promised early access to the Altered State SDK as well. Mm-hmm. Quite a bit of knowledge and technology regarding AI. I think that we have been focusing a lot on user-generated content. In the future, we will probably evolve to agent-generated content. But the most important thing at this stage, regardless potential partnerships and all kinds of conversations that we had, is focusing on the Builders Academy. We were able to onboard over 200 independent people that actually, some more active, some less active, that are actually building stuff. And at least 10, 20 of them, they are doing amazing things, and they also realize that it takes quite a bit of time to actually build some stuff. But they're working on it, and some of them are really performing very well and having a great output. So, in the past weeks, we see quite a bit of community engagement as well. We see the secondary market sales picking up. I think over the last week or two, we were consistently number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with NFTs related to xSPECTAR on bits, for example, also performing pretty well with the land minting, because shortly after Christmas, I guess, we launched a functionality where people that purchase their land actually can mint it as well and trade it. And we have, of course, Marina City already live. New York region will be launched. And again, I've said it multiple times in the past. I don't give dates. We have an internal roadmap, of course, but I've learned over time that with development, that sometimes things change last minute, or problems pop up, and that it can take way more time than projected. And so we have the land minting going on. We launched an NFT collection with building NFTs. They will be manually placed at this stage by the team. There is a form up and running where people can apply for that. The first buildings in Marina City have been placed. Next stage, after New York goes live, we will have that possibility as well. And in the future, it will be, of course, automated. But for now, you should actually not interview me. You should actually focus, and I'm happy to connect you with some of those guys. And I shouldn't even be there. I don't want to influence anybody, You should interview a couple of those independent builders. You should interview a couple of our team members, and a couple of people that recently joined the community. They actually have a lot of experience with metaverse. They have been in the metaverse space since 2019, 2020, 2021, and they have built stuff in Decentraland, Sandbox, and so on. And, we're not paying anybody to promote us. We're not paying you guys. We're not paying other people. And it's cool to see those people with a lot of metaverse experience actually dive into our world. They download it at xspectar.com/beta. This week we saw people gathering, 11 people around a 3D chess game and playing metaverse chess. Yesterday or today we had lots of people pulling up with their Alpenglow cars and racing on the Alpine racetrack. Something that lots of people forget as well, we actually have a big name on the XRPL. Alpine is a legendary French car brand. They also have BWT Alpine, the Formula One team. We have a metaverse partnership with them. We can actually use NFTs, in-game assets that are drivable cars. And there's a lot of extra functionality. One of the community members, I think she's in South Carolina. She actually has a West Coastal Coffee, and in Town Square there is a small coffee shop, and you can actually walk into the coffee shop, walk to the cash register, and I think you have to press E, and you go directly to her website. Not only her website, but her e-commerce platform. So you can order coffee through the metaverse and get it delivered at your place. People that do that, by the way, they get an extra discount. So it's an extra incentive to go through the metaverse. Similar to all the money, the ATM building. Somewhere in Marina City, we have an ATM building, and you can walk inside. And in a partnership with C4T team, you can actually walk to an ATM machine, click on it, and purchase crypto in multiple fiat currencies with your credit card. There are so many things going on. I didn't even know some of the functionalities. Yesterday, there was a community member that did a live stream, and he actually reached out to me, and he says, well, I think that it was one of the independent builders, Neosenic. They have built something, and if you go into the building, you can press a button, and the text that is on the wall it's like audio. And then if you go upstairs, they have a table where they actually have their blueprints and their architectural plans of the building, and you can actually see those plans. So there are lots of interesting details. The first thing that I think people should do is go and discover those details. The second thing is make contacts, make friends. It's also a social platform. And again, it's to me, it's the internet and 3D. And we had huge help, of course, from Mr. Bob Way, a man that I respect a lot, who jumped in as our chief of product for a while. And he didn't look at current existing companies and how they are building the metaverse. We don't see it necessarily as a game. We went back to the early 90s and we architectured it that way. But we added, of course, Unreal Engine to make it social and immersive, to have those 3D environments. But again, it's unlimited. And now I start to realize the potential myself even more. Because, it's like, and again, the past few days and weeks, those new people that flow in, they are so excited and they come up with the crazy stuff. It can be a game, it can be educational, it can be anything. But more than that, these people are not just crypto bros becoming part of a community, holding whatever, a token or whatever, hoping that the price will go up. Those guys really have IDs, and they are coming up with cool stuff, and they touch base with our independent developers and commission them for custom builds, and we put them in contact. We don't take any money out of it, by the way, but we are so happy to support those builders because then they can keep on building. And we know and we realize how much time, effort, and money it takes.
Yeah, this is really great. And as Chip's bringing that up, we have a couple really good questions from the audience here in and around this. And this goes to more like real world experience as well. Let's go through some of these questions, and then I had some comments specific in and around real world utility of the space. But let's take this one first.
Yeah. So Osman says, any upcoming news about virtual experience of Formula One for this year?
Well, Alpine is a huge company, and everything they do takes a lot of time and a lot of, it takes mostly a lot of time. Their internal decision processes take a lot of time. So when they started out, it was a test case, and we had their HQ, we have their cars. We will probably launch an NFT collection with one of their smaller car models in the very near future as well. But regarding the actual experiences, we've built quite a lot for Alpine, and they are working on their platform with multiple chains integrated as well. And it's actually up to them. In the future, we will definitely do some AMAs. We will try to get drivers in there and so on and so on. But over the past year, we've focused on actually creating the 3D environment, integrating everything that is blockchain related. Another cool feature, for example, and I think it will be available in the next release, is that if you drive, and this is something also very important for the whole ecosystem. We don't only have those independent builders, the community members, the projects involved, but we will drive traffic to the marketplaces, to Bits and XRP Cafe, for example, because if you walk around on the Alpine HQ and one of your friends is driving a car and he pulls up in the pit stop, he can actually click on E as well, or on a button, and he gets directed instantly to one of the marketplaces, and he can instantly buy a car, and that NFT, as soon as you bought it and it's in your wallet, it's a matter of seconds, you can pull it up in your inventory and it shows up in the metaverse as a drivable asset. That's utility.
Very cool.
And
I like that. Yeah.
It looks like it needs. So Crypto Web said we need some police because people drive like crazy in there. So I mean,
that's something that we've discussed a couple of times with Bob. We are not the metaverse police. I've heard some things about centralized and decentralized, and we have seen that with Ripple as well. Any project starts in a relatively centralized way because there's somebody that pays the bills, there's somebody that takes initiative, there's somebody that can be held accountable for some things, but we have some very clear ideas about decentralizing everything. We of course have a very good connection with Vitsa and his team, with the people from Evernote. So I think from a centralization perspective that it evolves, and this process might take 10 years, but we have a clear outline of how we're going to do it. Again, regarding the police, yeah, should we need to
Community.
yes or no? Should we be able to impose fines? Who should do that? Is that the centralized entity? Because then we get back
Right.
to we are not God in the metaverse, you know? So I think that, for example, regarding building regulations inside the metaverse, we should or the community can create a builders guild for builders, or we can have a landowners association where people that hold land in a specific region take part of, and maybe people can vote on building regulations, how high, how tall, what style, whatever, you know. Now we're just trying to get as many buildings in there. We want the world to be populated as much as possible. The next step is getting as many people as possible in there, because people in an empty land, you know, it's not that attractive. So we create the environment. Now we have 200 plus independent people that are starting to build, populate, and those people will create their own communities. They will attract their own audiences. They will bring their own people in. We're in talks with a guy, Ethan Brewerton, you know, he's a pretty famous NFT artist, very well connected, decent following on X. He has done multiple collections on ETH and on other big chains with lots of NFT volume. Well, I don't know exactly how he got onto the XRPL, but somebody drew his eyes on us, on the XRPL, I mean. And in some form, well, if you look at the XRPL and projects building on the XRPL, well, you end up in some form at xSPECTAR.
That's really cool. Yeah.
So he will be launching a collection. I don't know. I don't have an exact date. I don't know what I can say, yes or no. But Ethan will be launching something on XRP Cafe, and you know, this is what we do. We want to collaborate. We want to give people exposure, because we know if we help somebody, they will help us as well. So we instantly proposed him to lend him. Or let him use a plot in Marina City, get the existing art gallery building that we have already there on there, put all of his new NFTs that he will launch in there, and then direct link it to the launchpad of XRP Cafe, for example. And we sincerely, well, he seems to like the concept. He was pretty excited, but it's all with a higher goal, you know. It's not just making friends or selling his NFTs out or whatever. We want the people, his community, all the people that hold his art from other chains to come to the XRPL and not just purchase NFTs on the XRPL. We want them to see that we have a metaverse platform that is actually pretty good, you know, from a visual perspective, really good, but also from a technology perspective, blockchain, the XRPL, fast, cheap, you know, but also from the architectural perspective. And I don't mean the architectural from a visual perspective, but really the software related stuff. I don't think we should get too technical. It took me a while to really get it as well, by the way. You know, sometimes you're forced into a role that you know, I'm not a developer. However, I've been involved so much that I actually start to get quite a few things, you know, and it's really hard to explain that to people that aren't that involved. However, that's something that we should learn, you know. If you want to pitch something to an investor, well, explain it in 12 pages, say it in 2.5, 3 minutes, so everybody can understand it. This is something that we've been struggling with quite a while. We've hired multiple experts from Silicon Valley, everywhere, to help us out, you know. And, you know, we still didn't get to a point where I was satisfied. And there were some things that could be improved. And we have been working on that. And I'm very happy that we are somewhere now where I think it's actually pretty good, you know. But those are things that the people, when they start building something, don't necessarily think of, you know. We've been focusing so much on building that we actually lost track of some things that might seem details to us back then, but that could become very important. But again, you know, talking to and I get to the question as well, you know, talking with Aaron McDonald and getting a message, you know, I will try, because I have to be very careful these days that I say something that is definitely 100% correct. But Aaron, and we've been there were mutual friends that actually got us in touch with each other, and we had very nice conversation. Having someone like him downloading the beta and actually going in there and then sending me a message, well, this is actually really good what you guys have, and I appreciate the time and effort it takes to get something like this done. That gives a pretty good feeling,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's so much, I look at everything that you guys are putting together and the amount of time and effort, the passion that has to go into building something like this, the risk of developing it, building it. Yep, especially since we're still in this relatively newer space of,
well, you
the
have to be
blockchain.
crazy to a certain extent, probably.
That's right.
And we, from a business perspective, we have taken some big risks as well, and we hope they will pay off. And we hope that everybody involved knows what the potential is, also knows what is potentially at stake. And the only way to actually succeed is to collaborate together to make this work, And I think, and again, talking also with, we're pretty well connected with ApeCoin. ApeCoin is sponsor of the BWT Alpine team. We have been integrating ApeCoin or ApeChain to the backend. We have a social profile on X, which is called xSPECTAR. We never know what will happen, but we might end up in a virtual world with multiple nations where each nation is tied to a specific chain, and where we actually leverage the competition and the tribalism between chains to stimulate innovation and development. We've met some pretty cool people on there as well. Some of the independent builders are actually coming from ApeChain. One of those guys has a studio in Dubai, and he's working on a platform for interoperable 3D assets as NFTs. Exactly what we have in our metaverse, but making sure that they will be able to be used by holders in multiple virtual worlds. And we are in a pilot project with them, which also contains otherSide from Yuga Labs and Nifty Island, pretty big names. Regarding the Futureverse part, we will probably have a very good shot on getting on the Readyverse site as well, which gives us a lot of exposure. And then we were brought in contact by Yuga Labs with otherSide and otherSide. otherSide is the metaverse project from Yuga Labs, of course. They've been working it on quite some time. They stream everything. We have a dedicated client. You have to download the browser. M2 and Improbable are actually one company with two separate entities. They take care of all the streaming for otherSide. They also have a venture arm, and they are very interested in what we're doing. We still hear a lot of people ask us about Mac availability. Well, if we are able to stream everything, then things would be probably a little bit easier. And M2 is also interested in investing in companies that actually use their technology. So we have otherSide, Yuga, Inceptive Studio, Futureverse, Readyverse, the Root Network on the other side, Improbable and M2 on top of it, which is more of the foundational stuff. There are lots of conversations with lots of interesting people.
Look at this. Right there, Jim D nailed it. We need a metaverse on the chain, guild hall, Yeti, roulette, casino, wager, kiosks, all that stuff. So
we really have to figure this out, Chip, because we have land over there. We have all these plots that are just underdeveloped, or let me say undeveloped.
Undeveloped, yeah.
Undeveloped, not undeveloped.
Well, I don't know in which region you guys have the land, but for example, the roulette, the casino thing is an interesting one, because how Bob architectured it, everybody can run. So you have to see the regions as the search engine. It's a social platform where you meet people and where you go places. You go places. And how do those places attract you? By having a nice building, a nice facade that draws your attention. It's actually advertising space, that you're selling. So once you have a nice place that draws people over, you go through a doorway. The doorway acts as a hyperlink. And you go from one server that is run by xSPECTAR to the interior of the building. And owners of land can actually run those environments on their own server, and they can do whatever they want inside, And the big advantage is if you guys want to run a casino and you run it on your own server, well, that puts a lot of the legal pressure.
That's all we need, Dirk. It's more legal pressure
Well,
in the United States.
We're gonna run an international casino.
A compliant casino, and you have all the necessary licenses,
Well, Casino Coin, we'll just use their. So I had a conversation on X today with Jungle Inc. We famously did a whiskey stream, Jeff and I, in Jungle, and he's got this great idea. Like, why don't we do a whiskey stream in the metaverse? We invite everybody to show up. We can be inside there. We can have. I think that would be something fun, because here other people can join in and kind of be there virtually versus just watching us here. Thought it might be kind of a cool thing that we could hook up. Because I asked them today.
Clarify, because whiskey stream, where does the whiskey come in?
Well, the whiskey comes in here. We drink it while
the whiskey. We'll talk about the whiskey that we're. It'd be cool. We could do a whiskey tasting.
Jungle shows up. I'm down. It's been a while since I had whiskey, but I would like to sacrifice myself.
That's what we'll do. We'll do a little whiskey stream. We did one. I think it was like 2+ hours, and we were just pouring some whiskey, and it got a little kind of towards the end.
Starts out with good intention.
It started out really great, but then it kind of it disintegrated a little bit.
Have a whiskey store as well instead of the coffee shop where you buy real live coffee. Well, imagine having Red Bull in there as an example, and you could walk up to a virtual Red Bull shop and you can drink a virtual Red Bull, and that gives your avatar wings for a while.
How about that? Badass Yetis.
I like. We need to figure out how to get. Once we figure out how to get the Badass Yetis into the metaverse. Someone had commented, said once New York opens, we got to get the Yetis roaming around in Central Park. We got to get the Yetis and build them in our land, and we'll just unleash them, and they'll just get crazy.
They can be the police. They can attack.
The Yetis will be the police.
Well, in that respect, the AI stuff will be interesting as well, because we have spoken before about AI for non-player characters. But the potential connection with Altered State Machine and the Futureverse ecosystem, they are pretty advanced with some 3D creation stuff, creating NFTs that are even PFPs, and make them 3D assets that can then be minted as NFTs and be used in the metaverse. And those technologies are already there. And I think that we have focused a lot on building things ourselves. Mm-hmm. Which makes sense, because it becomes proprietary technology.
That's what Apple did. Apple did that.
However, if you want to speed things up, well, you might set up some really good partnerships with companies like Sequence, Venly, whatever, and use their SDKs or APIs, the things that they have already built. It could speed things up. It would definitely be cheaper. It wouldn't mean that we wouldn't build it in ourselves eventually, but and what I've learned as well is that both investors and lots of other people that are pretty important in the industry, they want to see partnerships, and not just brand partnerships, which is good for exposure, but also partnerships with strong other builders. If you can show that other people work with you and believe in you, that's crucial. And I think that previously under Bob and Neil, we were focusing like, this is our stuff. We are not looking at what other people do. We only do what we do, and we look at ourselves. I think it's pretty good to look at competitors and reach hands and make friends and make contacts. And that's exactly what we're doing now. You just showed a comment, by the way, from Ovi. Ovi is the guy that I would say we partnered with him, but we didn't partner with him. He's actually a community member and a big holder that created a group of other whales around him, and they don't get paid, but they are very active, and they're pushing some projects that they collaborate with, because it helps their own backs, So they are doing this not purely altruistically. However, they look for partnerships. And they do daily spaces. I would definitely recommend, because I know you guys have your Badass Yetis as well. I would definitely recommend to invite Ovi, and I didn't make him any promise. I didn't even discuss. He didn't even know that I was coming on your show before. But I think you should get Ovi on here as well.
Oh yeah, we'd love to.
What he's doing for the NFT ecosystem is pretty important, and it seems to work as well. And he has some big plans. and it's a lot of his community members that actually got so excited and got really involved in xSPECTAR. So big shout out to him. He's been he's been a driving force for NFTs on the XRPL over the past weeks, and he has a Discord that is so active, and they're like there 24/7, and I think we need people like that, because you have the builders, marketing costs a lot of money, still not easy to survive on the XRPL. Most projects struggle, but yeah, people that drive that excitement without necessarily chilling or without being a paid promoter, I think that's a good thing. This is what Web3 is about. I've read the article from Yatsiu, the president of Animoca Brands, multiple times, and it was specifically about the Mochaverse token, but actually it's about any token. If you go to Yatsiu Medium, then you can find it. He talks a lot about the Web3 principles and what is important. And of course, digital ownership is important, NFTs. Stakeholder capitalism. Instead of shareholder capitalism, people become stakeholder by contributing to the network, and you create a network or a ripple effect in this case. And being a stakeholder means that you hold either a token or an NFT or multiple ones from a specific network, and you become part of that network. You contribute actively to that network, and it can be by purchasing assets, it can be by trading assets, it can be by creating assets, but it can be by doing a simple repost. You don't necessarily have to spend money to become part of the community.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we do like a joint giveaway? Like we could position a couple NFTs. We can take like a one from our 2 Badass Yetis, one from the white tribe, one from the blue tribe. Maybe put it together with some land and kind of do maybe a joint sort of giveaway there. We could do something along the lines of that, kind of get that out there. And I asked Obi to.
Well, plus I found out where our land plots are. So we have plots in Tokyo City in Zone 5, and we have land in Cyberpunk City, Zone 7.
Beautiful.
Well,
somehow
two areas probably will be interesting. Both. I know that Crypto Eri is planning to build a karaoke bar somewhere in Tokyo City.
Oh hell yeah!
By having the plots, I have so much to talk to. We need actually hours. Regarding the land, for example, we did a pre-sale. We sold out. Now we give people the opportunity to actually mint them, and because it's a manual process, because people have to pick the land, then mint the land, it takes a while. But it also means that releasing the land plots goes slowly over time, similar to building the different regions. Marina City is there. New York will be ready very soon. And over time, we will release more of those areas. And then we have every XYZ amount of months, 2, 3, 4, 6, I don't know. We have something that creates new excitement. And we want to make sure that Marina City and New York are very well populated. They have enough features to drive excitement before a next region gets released. I think that the next one, the team will kill me if I say something. So we don't know yet. We didn't decide yet. It will be a strategic decision. Again, a little bit more centralized than in Web3 we would want to. So we will probably pick the next region that we will develop. However, for the next regions after, we will probably consult or let the community decide as well.
Yep. So it's so interesting when we look at the different regions, the different cities. I'm looking at the area that we picked out, and then you have the water and the road, and everything is just so interesting laid out the way it is. So Chip and I are going to have to sit down and really figure out how to put this all together so we can get the Badass Yetis inside of the metaverse here and actually do something.
Sorry to interrupt you, but for builders that actually build stuff, if you guys start to build and you don't have land in one of the regions that's already live, well, we still have some land plots here and there, and we are happy to, for people that actually build stuff. We have the same agreement with the current builders. We are happy to put those buildings or environments or whatever you have built on plots that are ours to give you already more exposure for the time being. Also free of charge, because again, everybody who's involved, as an investor, as a community member, as a builder, everybody should have the same end goal. And the only way to actually achieve that is to collaborate and to make sure that we have an interesting world where people want to be inside.
Right. Here's a good question right here. Or comment anyways. Don't open the gates like Biden administration did for everyone. Choose quality over quantity, please.
Well,
people coming
commenting on the Biden administration. However, I think we do choose quality over quantity. But to make a metaverse successful, we do need quantity of something, quantity of builders and quantity of people, actually. I remember that Bob always told me, well, what's important? And he always said money is important. Well, who brings the money? The people. So actually the people are important. And that's what we should focus on, because it's like bringing multiple groups of people together.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
I always, when I speak, I have so many things to say, and if I probably listen back, I would say, "Oh man, you're so chaotic," because there's so many
That's
things.
That's how we roll, man.
So many things in my mind that I want to tell you guys, and I will probably forget the most important ones. But I never prepare these things. I think this should be a natural conversation and flow organically, and I tend to do monologues as well. I'm Moonchaser. Well, she's been a big supporter as well, and very grateful for her and Minus and Ari to hit the repost button regularly or to comment on our stuff, because those things are important. These people are serious people with quite a good reach, and it helps projects a lot.
So look, I just wanted to say, the first time we met was December of 2022. Look at, here we go, right there. So there we are, right there. There's Blockchain back here. There's myself. There's you. There's Eric Martinson. So a lot of familiar faces, and you're posting something on X probably there. So
I was probably doing something work related. Yeah.
And there you are right now. But this was a barbecue down in Miami that we kind of had some fun at, and then of course we were, you were on stage last March actually in Australia. And you were there at the WOI, which was great. So that was good. So we got to hang out there, and we had a nice memorable sort of a lunch. And funny story, here we are. You were driving this beautiful G-Wagon, and I rode in the back, and I was like, they drive on the other side of the road, which is a little bit weird. And I know at one point we were like, are we on the right side of the road? Hey, now let's move to the other side of the road. And so we were going down to, where's that beach, Jeff? Where's the beach down there that we were heading to?
Forget which beach we were going to.
It was an hour.
I wish I could remember that.
Byron Beach.
Byron Beach. Yeah. So we went to Byron Beach. So we were with Matt and LaRoche and Ali, and we said, like, well, let's go down there. That'll be fun. We'll just go down there, have some shops, go to the beach. Yeah. And so we pull into a parking lot, and we see a G-Wagon. It's got like the hood up, and Jeff says, I bet that's Dirk's G-Wagon. And I'm like, come on, Jeff. I mean, just because it's the same color, just because it's that. And of course, it turned out to be you. We parked right next to you. And something had happened to the battery.
I have a more interesting story when I was at Byron Beach. I went for a walk on the beach.
Oh, no.
And I got back. I don't know if you guys know about this, but I got back from the beach, and I had like a sweater on. And I get back, and I have two phones. And one of my phones is gone.
Oh, no.
Oh, man.
Losing my phone. I do a lot on my phone, as you guys have seen. So I can't find the phone anywhere. It's red, luckily. So I walk back on the beach, and I think, well, I will find it, because luckily there weren't too many people. Well, I start sweating. I was really stressed, because the moment you realize that you might have lost it is pretty tricky, especially on the other side of the world. But after like 45 minutes, I went to a lifeguard, and somebody actually found the phone, gave it to the lifeguard, and he could, with an iPhone, you can record something even without unlocking the phone. And I still have the movie. It's like a short clip of a guy with his nice Australian accent. And he looks like he's not very well off, so he probably could have taken the phone and sold it. Well, he actually left me a short clip and he said, well, man, I'm really sorry that you lost your phone. I gave it to the lifeguard. I hope that you get it back soon. It was really nice. So it says a lot about our Australian friends as well.
Yeah, they're good people.
That was really great. Yeah.
I was
It was an overall great experience, going over there. We were hoping that we'd have that experience again here coming up in May, but I guess that whole event has been pushed back a little bit.
I think they've done a great job, and it's really nice to see, BC Becker, you, the Bearable Bull, and Ari. I was honored to be amongst people that have been around for quite a long time.
That was a great conversation. I really enjoyed some of the conversation we had, and also talking and tech. And then of course you on stage where Crypto Eddie she had interviewed you on stage. That was a good segment too. And I think this is what like people didn't realize is the builders that appeared at this conference. People are doing stuff in the space. Making things happen. And I think that's a lot of what the conference was about, and that's why you were such a pivotal sort of player as well. And of course, also Aaron McDonald did a keynote there as well, and he did from Futureverse, and he was there, and so there was just a lot of great people. And then we got to see how big South Korea was. Man, it's amazing the builders they have there. Now I would think that South Korea would be super like head over heels in love with what's going on with xSPECTAR, because they're so involved. Like last week, they had a hackathon, and it's so great to see young people like hackathon on the XRPL and the way it applied to the metaverse, Web3, I should say, more about Web3. And it was, man, there were like 150 people there, and all they were doing was coding, eating fast food, and drinking Cokes, caffeine. I mean,
I think that Japan and South Korea are definitely interesting markets. While Southeast Asia as a whole for gaming is pretty important. XRP is pretty big in South Korea and Japan, of course. What can I say? Some things, should I tell them or not? But there is a group of people that recently joined the community as well. And, sometimes if something looks too good to be true, well, it usually is. So I was a little bit worried. They were like such a powerhouse of people, real estate guys from New York, a guy that has a huge production company in Vietnam, and they start purchasing plots around Central Park in the New York City area. And we saw them buying up and more. And they reached out to us and they created a group, and they actually have shown us some plans of what they are building as we speak. Wow. They are professional, man. And they also tell me, sometimes I doubt myself as well. I got into this with the idea of building something in another metaverse initially. And it evolved organically by having Mao or NFT artists in the team, and then Neil and Bob and Jonathan and all those people, and everybody brought new ideas, and it got streamlined and fine-tuned, and it evolved to what it is. If you look at promises, well, if you take our initial ideas and you look at what we actually have now, I think we have surpassed everything by a factor 20,000. We didn't intend to build this whole thing, but again, a big shout out to the team, because they've gone above and beyond. Yeah, this is a post. Over the past few days, I saw the Ghibli style thing on with ChatGPT, and Sadaf was one of our early team members. Carola has worked for quite a while with King Solomon, and they're both in Australia. And I had the opportunity to meet them as well.
Yeah.
And we did a post Ghibli style, that one.
Then I said this one. There's the beach. There's
terrible pictures of me,
There's the beach where you lost your phone, and then boom, there we are.
Yeah, well, we look better in the cartoon. I definitely do,
Yeah, I was like, it's crazy to see that, but that was the beach that where you lost your phone, I believe, right? That was the Byron Beach there.
Yeah. So in the meantime, cars, buildings, land plots, all circulating as NFTs. I think that if we take all the collections combined, including pre-sales, that we are responsible for most of the NFT related volume on the XRPL. One project that is also very prominent, of course, is xPunks. I think that if xSPECTAR and all the NFTs from xSPECTAR and xPunks combined probably do over 60% of the NFT related volume on the XRPL, which is huge. That means that a couple of thousand other projects do less than half of it,
Yeah, Byron Beach, man, what a great place. Jim D was asking where that is, and I was going to just put it up on a map for some reference. He was like, Vero Beach? Well, Vero Beach is Florida. So I was like, no, we know where Vero Beach is, but no, it's not Vero Beach, but this is Byron Beach. And I think it's big for surfing too, because the inlet right here too, because we saw a lot of surfers. But what's interesting about it is like Florida is very flat, and you got California, which is very rocky. It was kind of a combination of the two, where you have these giant rocks, but a beautiful, nice beach in there. And if you kind of like, if you zoom out a little bit, there's the Gold Coast where we were. This is where the event was, at the Gold Coast. And if you come down even further, you'll see Sydney down here. So yeah, it's closer to Brisbane up there, right between Gold Coast is right about center. But it's a really cool beach, man. Really enjoyed hanging out there. Love the shops.
Yeah,
I think it was the day after our conference ended, and that lots of people went there. Apparently, it's a very small, picturesque town.
Yeah, but it was so strange. I mean, that day we were all over the place. We started in the morning and went for fish and chips. I can't even remember the places that we went to that day, and we're up on like the highest point.
We were here, Jeff.
And we went to that place eventually.
What I remember is that apparently it's always good weather in that area of Australia, and that I think that we had. Yeah, well, I remember mostly rain.
Yeah,
it rained a little bit, but it's just like a little surf town. Very cool shops, great places to eat. Like I said, we went in this place over here. We sat at one of these tables over here and drank a few beers. But it's a cool place. We walked around, went to some shops, and it's just a cool little picturesque little seaside town here. A couple streets where you have
Chip, that you visualize it, because it makes people help understand things better. Some of the feedback that we have from Ovi's community as well was that people actually, we don't have much documentation. We decided not to do white papers anymore, because as soon as you've written them, it takes a lot of time, money, and effort. Most of the time, it's a document again to get investment. In every white paper, the legal disclaimer almost literally says everything can change at any time, and don't take any thing that we have put on in writing over the past 40 pages as a fact, as set in stone. So I don't see what value it adds at this stage. Why did I start saying this?
I don't know, but Osmond said, I love my French speaker friends when they say ideas, and it sounds like IDs, and I love it.
I expect, looking at his name, that he's Turkish, mais si vous voulez, on peut faire un space en français, il n'y a pas de problème.
Impressive.
And there you go.
There you go. There it is right there.
I don't know what you said, but
I don't know.
Well, if you want to do a space or an interview in French, that's also a possibility.
Great.
Not here, it's not, my friend.
Spanish or Italian as well.
It might be possible, right?
We struggle with English. I'm going to be honest with you. English is like, as our first language, is still a struggle. So
you've lived in Florida. You should speak Spanish at least.
Well, my wife speaks fluent Spanish, and she's from South America. So, she speaks fluent Spanish. My girls speak fluent Spanish. I understand Spanish, but I can't get the words out quick enough. But if I spent 3 or 6 months down there, I'd be there.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing, by the way? Because it's been a while, and I've missed you.
It's been a while, man. I know.
It's been a really long time. Now that we realize, we go back and start talking about when we were actually together, and it
was a year already.
Yeah, the year just flew by.
I think it's really important that you guys, especially having the Yeti project and having NFTs yourself, is that you guys should connect with Ovi, and there might be a couple of NFT projects that actually have been around during the bear market, because if I see the prices go down, it doesn't make me happy either. Mm-hmm. However, most of everything went down over the past years, and some people actually have been consistently building and sticking around, not
Right.
just xSPECTAR, and they deserve some kind of eyes on them and traction. You know, it has been hard for lots of people, and I'm very keen on seeing how it evolves. I see that you know, I've been pretty friendly with Ripple lately as well. The XRPL Apex account is interacting with lots of our posts. That's very hopeful. I think it's really time to unite. That's also, we've spoken about all the money, by the way, and the ATM token. While another initiative that we took was creating all the memes alliance with 40 meme projects that collaborate and are communicating in both X and Telegram groups, supporting each other, sharing experiences, giving exposure to each other. So yeah, I think, and then all the money narrative is pretty enticing, especially on the XRPL. You remember 2019, Evan Schwartz?
Yeah, yeah.
It's all the money.
All the money, baby. Look at this. So, you know, I wanted to say that in Australia, here in the US, we have something called Sasquatch. In the Himalayas, they have the Yeti, the Badass Yetis. And so in honor of Australia, we've created something called the Badass Yowies. And these Badass Yowies are to be a force to be reckoned with. So this is what they are down under. And these are the Badass Yetis, right? I mean, the Badass Yowies. Because they kept coming in our chat saying, what about the Yowies? We're like, what the hell are these Yowies you keep talking about? But that's what they're
We
called.
need to have
We
Waza
created them.
promote them, no?
So
That's
yes.
right. Waza would be great to promote.
Waza.
The
You have a
Yowies.
Waza. These, by the way, all these look like Waza. By the way, they're based on Waza. the Waza Waza Yowies. He'll probably love that when he hears that. But that's we have that one coming out. We also have the Badass Chimps, which is a little bit of a departure.
Chimps will be fun. Yeah.
The Badass Chimps is a little bit of a departure in the sense that it's more of a hand drawn sort of a thing. So we're kind of a little bit of a departure. Let me see. I'll put these suckers up here, but you can see right there.
Some people reach out to me that are doing something similar as you guys with NFTs and intend to have a game or something, gamified experience. I think it's really important that you guys have a presence in the metaverse now as soon as possible, and that you use the platform. You know, I've said it in Spaces tonight. Use what we have. Abuse it. Try to get as many people in there and break it. Stream it. One of the Ovi's community members actually streamed over the past few days. He had thousands of viewers on his profile because of the stream, you know? So why should you stream from xSPECTAR? One, because it's fun. Two, because it makes your own profile or brand grow. And I think it's really important to get that done and to grow your own audience and to create some people eyes on what you're building. Gentlemen, I'm going to be right back because my laptop consumes so much power that it will drop out any minute. So I'll put myself on wait for.
We'll do this here. We'll put you in the green room. Bring it back.
So you can get some drinks and snacks.
Get some snacks.
So Chip, as we're going through this, and I'm thinking about what we could be doing in the
coffee
in that metaverse and the coffee, but even just, you know, if we have our hangout space and putting up pictures of all of the different, you know, the Yetis and the Yowies and the Badass Chimps, so we can hang them up in the space. People can come and hang out. The best part, though, if we can roll out an interactive battle game, so we can finally get the Yetis to fight, and if they can fight over there in the metaverse, that'd be awesome. That'd be a perfect
inside
scenario.
Your environment. You can have your own game, and those Yetis can also become a character within the rest of the world. You know,
that'd be great.
It's a cool thing. So, for example, again, NFT projects utility. What do you guys want? Instant utility. So you can create an environment where there is a part public area to display whatever you want and to bring in new people. However, we can token gate a part of it or the whole building, which gives your NFTs instant utility because you need that NFT to actually get into the building. There is so much actually up and working and up and running, and we should probably make a list of all those things, you know, and actually explain it to people. Because the streams and I was telling about Ovi's community and the feedback, you know, they said, we can't imagine that all of this is there. Why don't we know it, And
Right.
well, maybe we are not doing a great job at showing it. We are putting out a lot of content, but you have to be pretty active on X to actually follow everything. The best thing I would recommend is jump in our Discord, meet up with a few community members, download what we have, and walk through and find out all the features. Feel free, reach out to older community members, new community members, people that are regularly in there, and ask them, well, what is interesting according to you? It's easy for me to say, well, we're the best project around. I don't know. I know we're hard workers. I know we're delivering stuff. I know we have quite a bit of cool stuff in comparison to other metaverse, but reach out to people that are actually actively participating on the platform, the builders and the people that are actually in the game. Those are the ones that should tell you.
Of course.
And they also know, that's also, we build in public, we build with the community, and we always take constructive feedback. There are always bugs, this, that, and those people that are actually in there, they reach out to us. They say, well, this should be improved. This is an issue. When we drive our Alpine car and we hit the sidewalk, sometimes it flips over and it doesn't get back on 4 wheels, Those things are all valuable feedback. And this is what Web3 is about. It's about a huge collaborative effort, spreading positive vibes, and everybody contributing to the success of the project. And that's the best way and the most sure way for everybody to be successful. And for the crypto bros that focus solely on the price, well, that probably contributes to the price as well. There is no project in my eyes that without only chilling and marketing, without solid foundation of development, can be successful in the long run. And if you prefer to, if you want to go to the casino, go to the meme ecosystem, look at all the money, all the memes.
All the memes, baby. That's all the memes, all the money, all the metaverse. It's like everything's all of this, especially I love the all the money. That was that's what it comes down to. And I think that once a lot of people are fixated on what happened with Ripple, with the lawsuit, and they're like, well, how come there's no price action? Because XRP is not a security. It's the only one that has legal clarity in the US. And once we get the regulations here, then I think we'll be able to set the stage. But even for Jeff and I, we've had a lot of cool ideas, even with our NFTs, but our attorneys go like, no, you shouldn't be doing that. No, you shouldn't do that. So our goal is like a couple things. No blood, number one. Stay out of jail. That's like two things like on the priority list. Like you don't want to, have any issues. And like everything we thought of for utility, it was kind of hard because it's like it's not clear. And like, well, yeah, you could do that. And I see a lot of people doing it, but they're outside the US and they have a little bit more clarity. They don't have to worry so much.
Yeah, well, we've discussed it with multiple lawyers, and we've spent a lot of money on legal fees. Some say you can do this, some say you can't do this, and both are have equally big authority within the crypto space. So I think that until now we have had a lot of, everybody in this space has to a certain degree been operating in some form, at some aspect, in a little bit of a gray area. I don't think anybody will be going after real builders. People, if you see that the SEC dropped the lawsuit against
especially now,
I was like, okay, well, that's why I told you before, this will be the Wild West until there is regulation. Is it good? Well, it's a step in the right direction, but we're far from home in that case. But that was clearly, and I don't think she was involved, but there was clearly something a little bit tricky about it,
Yeah, of course.
Somebody made a lot of money for sure. I've looked at what we have generated from sales, and people say, well, he does this or he does that. We actually build stuff. And don't make a mistake about how much it costs. If I wouldn't have done anything and I would have just created nice cinematics and show people, well, this is what there is without having an actual downloadable thing ready to go, well, I would have had probably tens of millions in US dollar value of XRP. But we chose to build and to assemble a team and to create technology and hopefully it will work. Another thing, how will you generate revenue? First party sales, the things that we create and sell. Then we have the partnership deals with projects like or brands like Alpine, and hopefully more. We will have our creator launch platform where verified builders can create NFTs as in-game assets. That will probably be interesting. So, there are so many potential revenue streams. At this stage, for example, royalties. Don't forget it. Royalties are baked into the ledger. So no marketplace can not pay them out. A big difference with all EVM chains. Well, on xSPECTAR NFTs, it's about 8%. 8%, we have the Genesis one, the Avatars one, the Crown Council, the buildings, the land plots, all of those. If all the land gets minted, well, we will probably have somewhere around 45,000 NFTs that are already circulating. Well, I've done a poll. Do you really believe that the XRPL ecosystem will get on par with the other bigger chains or big chains? Everybody, 90% or 89% of the community said yes. Well,
I think so.
We've pulled out some data from average number of NFT sales and average percentages and average prices in these other ecosystems, on OpenSea, on Magic Eden. Well, if you really believe that we get on par with those ecosystems, well, only with the NFTs that we already have out, we would generate millions, tens of millions in revenue just from secondary market sales, which would make us completely sustainable without doing anything anymore.
Well, last week a couple of days ago, we did a story where out of all of the ones, obviously OpenSea's number one, you have Blur being number two, but XRP Cafe was number 8 on the global ones.
A huge achievement. I don't know the exact amount that we are the spread between number 1, 2, 3 and us, but being there and being visible is a huge achievement. Same for First Ledger and Dex Tools and Dex Screener,
But watch what happens when XRP goes to 6, 8, 10, 12, 15, 20. You're going to see explosion in the NFT marketplace. And you already started to see that commensurate with the increase in price. I mean, we're at 40 cents, 50 cents XRP. You see it go to 340, 360, and a lot more excitement, more people coming in, a lot of people getting on the train. So as that grows, as that becomes, because it's not going to miss the all-time high. So blowing past $4, $5, $6, it's not even a question anymore. It's just a matter of time. And people think, well, look what's happening to Bitcoin and everything else. Yeah, it's going to take some time, but I feel like in the next year or two, we'll be in a good position. And I love to see, as we get more DeFi tools, as we get more, and I also see too, a lot of people are abandoning ETH too. A lot of people are moving off that for other chains. So you're starting to see a little bit of a decline for the first time, really ever, when there was so much building going on. You're starting to see other chains get more people jumping, moving projects, right? It's interesting to see how these other chains are doing so much better. And there's so much advantages the XRPL. And I think once, even on a L2, like we bring an SVN, the side chain, to bring in like smart contracts, that's one of it. But we'll move beyond that too, because I think smart contracts are only good for a certain point. But I think we'll get beyond that, Dirk. What are your thoughts on that? Us getting there.
You're definitely. I'm very hopeful, and that XRP goes up and not for the fact of the price going up, but just for the fact that it will draw in new people and new eyes. And I'm very confident that if people from other chains, where there is more NFT gaming, metaverse adoption, well, those people are used to buying NFTs, and if they come to the XRPL ecosystem, well, they will end up with xSPECTAR, no doubt.
Yeah, right. It's inevitable.
Another thing, if you believe that big financial institutions will come to the XRP ledger, which I presume will happen, well, where do you think that they will have their virtual presence? In Decentraland, in Sandbox? Because those institutions already have their presence over there.
Right.
What if they collaborate with Ripple, or they use the XRPL, or they use XRP?
Huge opportunities. Can you believe we've been talking for an hour?
I can't predict the future. I only see that from a technology perspective, what we have built is pretty good in comparison to other stuff. Earthlings, by the way, is also one of the... I tend to do monologues. Sorry.
So let's talk about this. Is exciting. So Earthlings Music will be streaming the next Builders Meeting live from their HQ in Marina City. That's going to happen on April 6th at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So stop by and talk and see what everyone's building and get questions answered. These are exciting events, especially when you get to meet with other like-minded people that think like you. And you might be saying, well, hey, I'm new to it. Well, great. That's exactly why you show up at these events, because maybe there's some OGs in the space. Maybe there's some people that have been around it, but this is it. You want some new people coming in, asking questions. So this is great, Earthlings. Really appreciate that. And that I'm going to see if I can see what I'm doing on April 6th.
Well, they actually have a really good ideas. They have been building on Gala as well. And they have good ideas. They have stuff ready to go, and they collaborate with one of the other builders to help build their environment. And that's and we're not involved at all. That's great, no? So once we get to a critical mass, well, we will have hundreds, hopefully thousands of people building stuff without them being on our payroll, and they will bring a lot of people in as well. So we're just Charles, thank you so much. We're just at the verge of, we're close, and it takes way more time than I would have wanted. By the way, if you guys hold land and you have no intention to build something yourself anytime soon, or you don't want to spend money on a custom build for now, well, you can get a prefabricated building NFT. I think that the floor price now is somewhere around 30 XRP.
And we can switch it, right? We can switch it out later.
Absolutely. And the buildings look amazing. They look 10 times better in the metaverse than on as an NFT. And at night, we just introduced day and night cycles as well. At night, they light up. Yeah, it looks pretty impressive. I love this. What we want, we want to make it as appealing and attractive as possible for people to actually jump in and discover.
There's so many options here for these prefab buildings, and I'm looking through them and, kind of getting an idea of the amount of the plot. So it says here, let's say, as an example, it says 8 plots. It requires 8 plots in order to put that building there. So right,
it requires 8 plots of land. We always, if people ask me, should we have 8 or 10 or 12 or 19 or whatever, if you place a big building like that, it's nice to have some extra space around it and maybe put some benches or some parking spots so people can pull up with their Alpine cars and park them if they want to visit your building. But again, it's up to you. It's not really up to me to make the rules. It's up to our team to lay the foundational technology. And then it's about creativity and what people do. And we will see some fucked up shit as well,
You think?
There are lots of legal questions in the future regarding kids in the metaverse, regarding what can you do? How do you keep
that
things
right there, Jeff?
What is illegal? What is not illegal? This is a nice one,
How do we hang a sign on that? Big OTC sign.
So the customization of prefabricated things isn't that easy. What I should do if this is an 8-plot parcel, for example, you get a 12-plot parcel, you put a building on and you put a big sign in front of it, and then the interior of the building, you can do whatever you want. Also, a big call out to everybody that wants to build or learn how to build just 3D development, 3D modeling or Unreal. Make sure to jump in our Discord, reach out to one of the mods. They will get you the builder's role, so you get access to a dedicated Discord channel with other builders and our team. There is tutorials, there is documentation. All of that will make sure that you are one of the early adopters and the first builders inside the metaverse, because the builders that are already in there, they are already making contacts. We have a guy that has several small plots all over the place, and he sells advertisement space. He has big billboards on his plots. And actually, all the meme projects, Unite, for example, they already got into it. So Earthlings that we just saw that will do the stream, they got in contact with Zips Meta Media, and they made a partnership deal for advertisement. Another, all the meme projects has a big building there, and they have advertisement space of another project. And it's all unite, collaborate, be positive, work together. So that's the spirit. And I think we are onto something really good. And again, use what we have to promote yourself and make your community and project grow. It's all there.
Yeah, these NFTs are really good. It's just like it gets in there to early adoption. People, because that's the thing with us. We're like, oh, we got to get with builders, and that's what we'll do eventually. We'll have somebody do something custom for us. Look at this. Osmond wants to know what happens when the royal family wants to build their castles and add that to the metaverse. How will that work?
Royal family,
then they have to buy land from our landholders. Everything is sold out.
That's pretty badass right there, dude.
Whatever they
want.
Want.
This one too.
Jeff,
I'm looking for tents. Are there any tents? I think that's what we can afford, Chip.
No, that's not. Give me a break, Jeff. What? How many we bought? I know we bought a pretty sizable plot of land.
We have a lot of. So we broke it up, but in the one area, if we're going to go into the Tokyo City area, I think we have a land plot area of 44 individual plots altogether. We took over an entire city block.
That's a nice one. So in the future, now you can actually, I don't know if you guys minted the land already. You don't have to, but you can. And in the future, so the combined plots will be minted as a land NFT, and it will be a parcel. It can be XYZ amount of plots. However, in the future, we have the NFTs are burnable. So if you buy adjacent plots, you can burn the initial NFT and make one big NFT of the bigger.
I like that.
And you can split them up as well. So if you have a very successful Yeti area, for example, or an on the chain building, and you have people that want to be close to you are able to burn the bigger parcel and then sell smaller plots for people that you want to have close to you, or that want to build portals to what they are building in another region. Everything is possible. It's so exciting. When I'm not a gamer anymore. It's been a while since I've gamed. Everybody knows that.
Same.
However, every time I'm in there, I have a smile on my face nonstop. For example, B Meta Yachts, one of the projects that is partnered with Ovi as well, and these are one of the guys that are independent builders. They create 3D yachts, virtual yachts. And you would say, why would I need a virtual yacht? Why would I need a virtual car? I don't know. Why do you go to a casino? Why do you go to Disneyland? Why do you go on holiday? It's entertainment and it's fun. And this looks nice, but if you see them in the metaverse, it's impossible to resist to get one, They have nothing to do with XSPECTAR. They work on our platform. They use our EDK. They are an independent builder, and they create really cool shit that will be a virtual asset that actually is usable inside our world.
There we go.
He's actually have music with him, so I'm gonna pull that.
Let's get a hedge fund going, a sponsor on the chain. HQ mic drop.
There we go.
That sounds, and John Page wants to know. Can we get a building that looks like a pyramid and have all kinds of shit underneath it? Did you see that, Dirk? Like what's going on?
Great idea. We should do that, Chip. That'll be our building.
I was just in Vegas and I saw the pyramid. I was done. I had my fill. I was in Vegas last week or 2 weeks ago, and man, I did not gamble anything. I like to gamble. I like to gamble with crypto and projects. That's where I like to gamble.
Look at this. Check this out. There's music.
Dude. That is badass, dude. Let's check out that paint job.
Man, now we're gonna have
looks like Keith Haring.
We'll have a Yeti boat, so the badass Yetis will just be on the boat. They'll be on the water.
Unleash those little badasses. Well, guys, we've been talking for almost an hour and a half now. It was a lot of stuff to kind of unpack. And Dirk, you were right. You took the right decision by trying to get it all. There's so much going on, so much exciting stuff.
Yeah, maybe I have to structure everything a little bit better, and we should get on another call. We should do this more regularly.
Absolutely.
3:30 in the morning here.
You have
wow.
After this, I'm going to jump into Ovi's Discord. Then I'm going to jump into my Discord. Then I'm going to hit the repost button a couple of times. And afterwards, tomorrow I wake up at 7 because my son goes to school. So, it will take another hour or two before I will be in my bed. 5:30, hopefully 6, and then at 7 I'm back.
So you're on our time zone.
Coffee. This is tea. I started drinking tea to avoid caffeine.
To wind down.
Yeah, I try to be very focused and on top. After we settle some things with some people and we make some things right that provide quite a bit of stress at this stage, I hopefully will be able to stop smoking, stop drinking caffeine, and finally
Maybe.
start to exercise a little bit. I've been saying this for the past 3 years.
Everybody needs a vice.
But yeah, well,
everybody needs something. Osmond says, Dirk, we really appreciate all the work you guys are doing. John Page has got a good idea. You have I think he meant virtual boat, wife, and life. Are there going to be NFTs like wives in there? And you can get a virtual wife too. You get to
actually,
be on your boat.
This is the last thing, but it's actually a pretty cool idea. I've given some ideas about what you can do in the metaverse. You can do fortune telling. People pay for it. I don't, but people do. So why don't you put a fortune teller on your lamp lot that is driven by AI, and people can pay for it? I don't know.
Idea.
Right?
People do it. People do that stuff. Why don't you create a virtual memorial ground where you sell statues to people to remember some of our loved ones? And what if people are there from all over the world, family members, friends, to gather there, and they have somebody that has exactly the same feeling next to them? It's a good way to connect and share emotion. Very interesting. What if we create, and this is a really good one, what if we create a bar where you walk in with your avatar, Chip and Jeff, and you meet a nice lady that actually, I think it was Gary, a community member, that came up with that, so credits to him. And he called it the dopamine savings account, where you actually meet an avatar that entices you and that engages with you and that gives you that dopamine feeling of having a good time, with somebody. And every time you buy her a drink or you buy her a pair of virtual shoes, instead of spending the money goes to an account that is actually your savings account. It gives you the exact feeling that people want, So, but instead of spending money, you save money.
Speed dating in Marina City.
There are a couple of things that always work in life,
Right.
Well, when Big Moon, as soon as everybody starts looking into what we've built and everybody starts buying and not selling, then it will go to the moon. What I've learned is that the price of assets doesn't necessarily correlate with the time, effort, money, and development that teams are putting into it.
Yep.
Don't believe me. Go to other metaverses, go to other chains, look at those numbers, look at what they have and how it works. And again, we're still very early. There is a lot of work to do, but just look at what we have now and compare it to existing very successful metaverses and make up your own mind.
Right on. Well, thank you.
That's it. Exactly.
Thank you for being here. I mean, man, we went a little over time, but I think we needed some extra time to sort of kind of get it all out. But I want to just have you. We can't let a year pass, and we should bring you out like every couple months.
We'll have to do it like every month or every 2 months or whatever.
Yeah, we'll bring you back on. It's just too much to talk about.
Great.
I'll connect you with some other people, some independent builders that are probably way more interesting than I am. Ovi and his club, and they will indirectly touch base on xSPECTAR as well. But you have different opinions, different points of views, different reasons why people are involved. I think we should do a metaverse or an xSPECTAverse series.
That'd be great. Yeah, that'd be amazing. Love to see that happen. And maybe we'll connect with Ovi. We can get some help building an on the chain presence over there.
Well, and even the NFTs, I think we can do something there. Yeah, we can do something with NFTs. I think that would be something really, really cool to.
And if you want me to repost something, feel free to DM me. I
love it. Yeah.
Regularly repost things from projects that I like. It's not financial advice, of course, but it's just because I want to support them as well, And again, the more success projects that are in the xSPECTAverse have, the more success we will have. So there is zero backroom politics. There is zero. It's pretty clear. It's not purely altruistic, but we want people in there doing cool shit. And there is already the possibility to do that. So don't wait. Don't sit by the sideline. Don't be do nothing and become active, because there is huge potential for everybody that is involved. And that's how we will make it. That's what Bob always said as well. We don't take the top-down approach. We don't have 100 million or 50 million to buy IP from big brands. They will come. Let's take the grassroots approach and make the metaverse as interesting as possible by having as many creative people doing as many creative stuff as well.
That's the big takeaway right there. We need people in there to do cool shit. There you go.
Build shit.
Your words.
Build shit. Build shit.
Good stuff.
We didn't show these kick-ass cars.
Well, they're still
badass.
one of the few NFT collections that aren't minted out yet. So if you go to XRP Cafe and you check for Alpine or Alpenglow or xSPECTAR cars or whatever, you will find them still 100 or something left. You know, and people that jumped in early, they got them at 149 XRP when XRP was at 50 cents.
Perfect, yeah.
They're still at 149, so you might be able. Some people maybe minted quite a few of them and now want to flip it and get some XRP back. So you might be able to snap them on secondary marketplaces as well, or secondary markets for less than that 149 XRP. Great content. Well, I'm very grateful for Chip and Jeff because they are the ones that make this possible. Again, check it out for yourself and talk to people that are involved. And if you have like specific technical questions, reach out to team members. If you have other questions, reach out to me. And, you know, let me know what you think about it, because I really want to know. This is my baby. I've been working, and you guys know, 3 years, almost day and night on this, you know.
Well, I was worried about you because you need to sleep more.
Nobody is going to kill my baby. And it's way too important for the whole ecosystem because there are so many people involved. It's not just about holders or community members.
Take care of yourself, Dirk. Get some proper rest.
Yeah. Well,
you can sleep. You can sleep between 6:30 and 7 before you take your son to school.
Okay, perfect. It's good enough. I'll sleep when the time is there.
I hear you. Well, listen, man. Well, thank you for coming on. I know it's late night. This is Sunday nights are always good here. Sundays or Wednesdays even better. So thank you for coming on and doing this super late. I always appreciate that. I always feel weird asking about it, but thank you for accommodating us and coming on here and just having fun. I mean, an hour and a half went by. It felt like that. So
yeah.
So we'll get you back on sooner next time. We're not going to let that much time go. There's way too many cool things, and I'm serious about this whiskey stream. And I'm serious. We bring your own virtual bottle
for a long time. I like a good glass of wine, an occasional beer. But
we know, Dirk. We've hung out with you. We know you like the good wine too. So
I've been so hyper focused lately. I can't afford myself to not being on top of things. Sometimes you have to release some pressure as well. So let me know when. If Jungle joins, well, I'll be there as well.
We'll make it happen.
We'll see if we can do coordinate everything and put it all together. So that's all we got, guys. Dirk, thank you so much.
We can go on for a couple
of
minutes.
We could probably do it. Let me go get some whiskey and then I'll be back. No, I'm just kidding. Then we'll talk. Maybe I'll get some wine and I'll entice you that way. We'll do that.
Yeah. We'll get everyone with
we want whiskey,
bring wine, whiskey, whatever you guys want. But we'll figure it out. We'll set that up. That'll be a lot of fun. But Dirk, it was awesome seeing you. It was really great having you on here, and we look forward to bringing you on again. We also look forward to getting getting everything over there into the metaverse.
Let's just get a building up there for now, Jeff. We'll just get the regular building, put it on the plot, and then we'll figure out how we have to build something.
We're gonna mint some of that land. So I think we reserved everything. We haven't minted it yet, so now we gotta mint it, and we'll start building. So we'll figure it out. But the Tokyo City's not open yet, right?
You guys are a typical example of the guys that are excited and involved and purchase some assets, and then they say, I had our biggest supporters that have spent quite a bit of money and hold a lot of things. They had fantastic ideas, but I get them as well. They have been waiting. I wouldn't say 3 years. It's 3 years since we launched, but it's 2 years since we really started building the platform, and I know people get tired, they get distracted, they forget about things, they are demotivated sometimes, luckily I'm sometimes demotivated as well, but if I would be as demotivated as some community members, well, we wouldn't build anything anymore, so yeah.
Well, that's why I like being able to
be demotivated. I need to be here all the time nonstop. I don't know. I had the Japanese beer, Asahi, and his father, he said, I can't even know. It was funny. The T-shirt, the T-shirt is coming. I have a triple XL ready for you. I just want to be able to give it to you in person. So either you come over or I have to come over.
Yeah, beautiful.
You know, in the next months, I don't know if I will be traveling a lot. It's been a while since I've traveled as well. There's a lot of things going on, and I want to resolve some issues before I go elsewhere. However, I also see that going to those conferences and stuff is really important, because it's about making connections. One more thing that I want to say, two things actually. One is a big compliment that Yuga Labs gave me. They said, we actually see you a little bit as a competitor. That was like, what the fuck? You guys have hundreds of millions. How? That was a good one.
That's a nice compliment.
That was a big one. It was in regards to other side, you know. And then the other thing was that I reached out to David from XRPL Commons in Paris. And we had a very good conversation. And he told me, well, we've been working with the Blockchain Gaming Alliance as well. And you should reach out to them because they're really interested in the XRPL ecosystem. I said, wow, that's good news. And we're actually members of the BGA.
Oh, sweet.
So through some mutual contacts, I actually got the direct TJ Telegram handle from Sébastien Bourget. Sébastien Bourget is the president or co-president of the Alliance, nice. But he's also the COO and co-founder of the Sandbox, one of the most successful metaverse. And that's I sent him a message, some information about xSPECTAR and some videos material and some screenshots and whatever. And I didn't expect an answer at all. You know, I know how many messages I get. And he's like, so I didn't expect anything. Well, after 5 minutes, he immediately replied to me. He sent me his private email and he says, we have to meet.
Beautiful, man. There's so much great stuff happening, man. It's such an exciting time right here. Jeff and I finally found a pathway to at least erect the building where we can at least get something up temporarily and kind of like, at least get the process started. You know what I mean? Let's get it started.
If you guys have extra land, we'll build on that too.
Build if we develop something, we'll have to get some of the independent developers. I know that Ovi's going to reach out as well. We'll see what we can do there and kind of do some, maybe there might be some opportunity to collaborate there, which is awesome. So man, so many cool things happening. It was a lot of fun tonight. And that's all I have. Jeff, you have anything you want to wrap with?
That's it. Just again, appreciate you being on here. I think you really hit some key points tonight. Look forward to the next one. I think you're right about that. We got to do this more often, more frequent.
Yeah, we should do the series in collaboration because Ovi supports quite a few projects as well, and all of those projects that are participating have also intentions to build in the metaverse or are already building, and combining that, combining that with then the actual builders from the Builders Academy, it will give a very interesting dynamic and different perspectives of why, what, how, when. Pretty cool. I'm excited again.
We'll bring more people on next time too. Bring some people you want to bring on, a couple people that are building. We'll have it be a little bit more like, talk about different areas. So it'll be fun. So, but hang out here. I'm going to play us out of here. I'm going to, but don't go anywhere. We'll talk right after we wrap here. Guys, thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for all your questions, all the support. It's really great. We make the ecosystem. It's us. It's on our backs. If we want it to do well, we got to participate. We got to get out there. We got to be involved. We got to buy. You see something cool tonight, cool piece of land, get started. Go for it. Buy a piece of land, buy an NFT. I mean, whatever it looks like. You want to get a car, buy a car before whatever it's going to be. Buy a boat.
And already, and all of that, you can actually use your buildings and put them on the plots, even though it's been done manually. You can build on your land plot, even though if Marina City is live, but if there is another environment that isn't live, you can actually start building using the EDK. If you have an LP car, you can drive it around the racetrack.
If you have a
3D chess game, you can actually go and play 3D chess with your friends. And so many more things, so people should really try it and then judge for themselves and especially compare it to other environments as well. And that's it, and you don't, some people really dislike me as well. And I get that, I don't really mind if people don't like me, but look at the product, look at what we have built and judge that. That's the only thing
people don't like us either. So. I have a lot of that. I've had some run-ins with some other people in this space. I've had some interesting sort of things, but it happens, man. Look, you can't please everyone. You got to please yourself. You got to be true to yourself. You got to, you put out a good product. You got to put out a great product, and people want to see it. Go in, man. There's tons to look at. So That's all we have, guys.
We got to give a quick shout out to everyone out there. Also,
Yeah.
I know people are waiting for the Badass Yeti giveaway tonight. We're going to do that Wednesday night. Maybe we'll even give away 2 Wednesday
Potentially,
night.
we could do that. Yeah, show up. We don't
Maybe
do a lot of
you can give
interviews.
some land NFTs away as well.
I would love to do that.
Like, how many Badass Yetis do you give away?
We give away one every show, so
One every show.
So over the next 4 shows, we give every show 1 land plot.
Oh, I love that.
Okay, awesome.
That's
That'd be
badass.
great. Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be fantastic. Yeah, that's that. Now it's getting really exciting. So
Now we're ramping it up.
now we're doing
starting maybe even starting Wednesday.
Yeah, you heard
See
it
how we
here
get
first,
that
guys.
rolling
So
out. You heard it here first. We're gonna start giving away some land plots. That'd be
Beautiful.
fun to give away.
hell yeah, man. All right. Well, thanks, Dirk. Appreciate it.
With the
Chip,
Badass Yeti
Jeff, Dirk, we are out of here. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Out.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.